Hi Yi,
Hello.
how are you?
Good.
Doing well?
Hi, Benny. Hi, Benny. I'm
Yee, how are you?
good. I may start my printer.
Where you at? I'm gonna see you there. How's everything going? Dorcas, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, Benny, and you?
Not too bad. Good to hear from you. Where's Yee? Did Yee disappear?
Hmm?
Yeah.
Oh, where's you got
Oh, I see. No, I'm here.
the
Okay, come back.
Oh, there you go. How are you?
Hi. I want to go back to the office, but work from
Yeah,
home.
it's good to see you. Yeah, Catherine, how are you? Good to see you. That's good.
Hi.
Good. Everybody's coming online.
How many people would anticipate today?
Well, so one of our Davron, Mr. Gativ, is unable to participate because he had to take someone to the hospital, one of his family members. So hopefully that's okay. But we have 4 other panelists, which is why we usually shoot for 5 because somebody might pull out or emergencies. Life happens, as they say. But
Yeah, especially this time it's tough.
yeah, I know. But we have 20 students that signed up for it, so hopefully we have a 21 rather. So hopefully we have a pretty good turnout for it. Yeah. So everything all right, RTI?
Super good. We kind of not hiring people. We are not laying off people, and we hire a little bit.
Okay.
But our company is kind of not very international student friendly. Like we
Yeah.
don't sponsor visa. Rarely. Sometimes do happen, but rarely.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so yeah, I appreciate you doing this. I remember when I first came to campus, you were working with other international students on campus to sort of consider resources at ISSO and the career centers and so forth. That was like my first week. Our first 2 weeks, it was.
I remember you.
So I was like, what's going on campus now? So this whole week was.
No campus, right? When we will reopen? That is the question.
Yeah. So, where's everybody at? It's 12 o'clock. No one shows up on time. We on time. No one else shows up on time. No. No. That's good. So maybe I can run to the restroom real quick. So if you all would give me 1 moment, I'll be right back.
I'm going to finish my fruit.
Hey everyone, thanks for connecting. We're gonna get started in just a few moments, so just hang tight.
Okay, I am back.
Thank goodness.
Where's everyone? Do we have everybody here? Where's the panelists?
Well, it's hard to tell because we have some phone numbers and I'm not sure.
All right, let's see. We have Yi. That's good.
Yes.
We're waiting for Netanyahu, Martin. What else we're waiting on?
Samira?
And Samara, yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure that they didn't go anywhere else. Let's see. I'll give it a few more minutes. Glad to see everyone here. That's good. You're going to be a one-person show if no one shows up. Where is everyone?
Samira is here.
Samira, are you here?
Yes, I am.
How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad. Good to hear from you and see you again, or see your picture.
Yeah, you can see me now.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Now, do you know Yi?
Sorry?
Do you know Yi?
No, hi.
Yi, Samara, Yi. Let's go. So that's good. So
Nice meeting you.
we're waiting for two more people. We're waiting for
No, there's Natalia's here. We're just waiting on Martin's.
Natalia. How are you?
Well, she's connecting still.
He's connecting. Okay.
She's almost here.
Almost here. And then we get Martin come in, and then we'll keep going. So yeah, I'm glad everyone's showing up. That's good.
I can see my friend Toyoshi here.
Yeah, see, you know people, everybody here. I like the square. We were going to do it as a webinar.
Hi,
Was
Toyoshi.
that-
Nice to see you here.
Yeah, we were going to do this as a webinar, but then we wouldn't have this type of interaction. So I think that this is helpful. All right. So now we're waiting. We're just waiting on Martin. Right?
Mm.
And we'll give them a few more minutes, then we can get started. And then we'll, when he shows up, we'll just get him acclimated in. But it's good to see that.
Hi, Natalia.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I was trying to join by phone and it said it's not starting yet. So I think might be some issue on my end.
We're
that's okay.
glad to see you.
Hello, Benny. Good day.
Hello. Who's there? Who's that?
Echo speaking.
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Good to see you again.
Good to see you as well. Everything going all right?
Yes, very well, thanks.
Excellent. Excellent. All right.
So, Benny, you wanna go ahead and get started, or you want to wait for Martin's?
What time is it? 12:05. I guess we'll go and get started. I'm gonna turn it over to Bryan, and I'll be right back. But I'll turn it over to Bryan for now.
Oh no, now the mystery. Where's Benny going? All right. So welcome everyone to today's session on navigating the U.S. job search for international students. So if you don't know, my name is Bryan Kanney. I'm Assistant Director for Career Development at the Heller Career Development Center. First of all, I want to thank all of our panelists. We very much value your time, your insight, your knowledge, your wisdom, your experiences. Everything that you bring to the table will look vastly different and similar to the other panelists. So we very much, again, value what insight you have to share with everyone. So I look forward to that. And of course, thanks is due to our students for participating. So thank you for your participation. And of course, I want to thank Benny for coordinating this. I believe he wants to say a few words, actually.
I do want to say a few words. I just want to thank the panelists for being here and for your willingness to share a little bit of insight, some inspiration, some of the complexities of the job search, and just take some questions from students who are concerned, especially if you're from, there you go, Martin, look at that.
There's Martin.
Hi, guys.
And just to share some insight, hello, about, the job search for you and to use your experience and really just to, we'll start off, as Bryan said, with a few questions, and then we'll turn it over to everyone that may have some questions as well. So again, we really do appreciate that. The other thing I want to just say to everyone here is just know that it's great to see you, and the Heller Career Development Center is here to support you in any way that we can. And also, don't forget that the Heller Career Development Center and the Office of International Students and Scholars also have office hours. So if there's any questions that you may have regarding the technical application of OPT, work authorization, but also just trying to strategize about the job search in the US, and broadly, feel free to connect with us. And with that, I'm gonna turn it over to Bryan. I'm gonna sit in the background, and I look forward to our program. I might even ask a few questions myself.
I hope so. I can't wait for those questions. Thanks, Benny. So just logistically, before we begin, if you could at all times keep yourself muted, unless it's your time to speak, obviously. We will have Q&A at the end. If you have a question, you're welcome to unmute yourself at that time. Just know that we are recording this video. So students, if you don't wish to be seen or heard, you are free to, again, keep yourselves muted and your image removed from the screen. So just keep that in mind. If you do have a question, you can chat it to me and I'll ask where appropriate. We will end promptly at 1 o'clock. And then one last piece that I want to mention is the nature of the topic today is sensitive for a lot of folks. So I just ask that we be respectful of everyone, and also, you know, there's no pressure here. Only reveal information that you're comfortable revealing. There's absolutely no pressure to spill your whole life secret, your visa status, all of these things. So just speak to what you're comfortable with, and for that we'll be grateful. Does anyone have any questions about logistics before we get started? Doesn't appear so. All right, well, we do have 3 international alum panelists here today, and we also have a current student panelist. Benny, are you waving to me?
4.
4? Well, we have 3 alumni, 1 current student. She's days away from becoming an alumni. You can see the excitement on her face. So that's something to look forward to. What I'm going to do is share my screen with you, and each of the panelists will introduce themselves sort of according to the script that I'll share with you. But if it's okay, I'll share my screen now, and I'll ask maybe Nitalia, are you okay to go first?
I think she has to unmute too.
Sorry. So should I just go by each question?
Yeah, so if you want to introduce yourself first, and then go to the questions, yeah?
Okay, yes. So my name is Nitaya Senwood. I'm SID 2014 graduate. And right now I'm working for an organization called True Causes Initiative as a program associate and administrator. So it's a team of 2. So just me and my director. And so I will just go to the questions to make sure we have enough time for everyone. So the biggest challenge that I faced during my search, it's not just one. So this is like my 2nd job in the US. At the beginning, I think it's a lot of uncertainty because of the immigration situation. I was not sure if I should continue to look for a job here or return to Thailand. My hope was that I would be able to take advantage of that 1-year employment opportunity to, you know, like work in this system and learn about this side of development, so that when I returned home, I also had leverage to, you know, look for a better fit opportunity in Thailand. So there's a lot of uncertainty, and my first job that I received was, I was basically called by the employer offering me the job the day I was leaving the US. So that's kind of like, there's that uncertainty, but after that, you know, it's I think there's a lot of challenges, you know, as a woman of color, you know, English is not my native language. So there's no one challenge, but it also adds up a lot of challenges. You know, you have to balance between the fact that you are a main provider for your family. You know, you can't really go without a job, but then you are ready to transition. So I'm sorry, I can't give you one exact challenge, but that is the reality and complexity that everyone had to evaluate their own situation. And the strategies and resources that helped guide my search was, my first job that I got was a friend of mine who's also a Heller alum in my class actually sent me that job because she looked at the job. She's looking a job, searching a job herself, but she saw that position and she was like, this is so unique. That's what everyone know me at Heller, knit. So she sent me, and she and her boyfriend, who also the same class at Heller, they were the one who actually drove me to an interview, because at the time I didn't drive, I didn't have a license, so this is like the strategies. It wasn't so strategies that I think about it in my head, but definitely just being friendly with everyone in your classroom, just being like, a good neighbor, human being, like all these things, it became a real resource for you when you are doing research. Because, it's great when you connect with someone, but they are not, if they don't know you, they are not gonna be like, hey, hire this one, But definitely getting to know people knowing you, it's a great resource. And how did I connect to my current role? So this one, everyone told you that you have to have connections, otherwise you cannot get a job in the US, which is oftentimes true. Because sometimes people like advertise a job, but they already know who they are going to hire. And a lot of international students definitely have more barriers. But this is the job that I got just so random. I basically just saw this job and like, this is the job I wanted, this is the work I wanted to do. And I just clicked apply on LinkedIn, really. And then the employer, the head of the organization just sent me an email. Hey, it seemed like you just click apply, but not really customize anything, but my profile probably like fit, somehow what they were looking for. So they were like, do you want a full job description? So that's how I, that's the beginning of how I end up at this current position. So what I'm saying is like, it's true. You need something that you build up, but sometimes it's just the opportunity. You just have to be prepared. And once the opportunity arises, it will work itself.
Great. Thank you so much, Nitaya. It's great to see you again.
Yeah, Brian, thank you. And great to see you too.
I think it's been a year since we've seen each other, but good to see you. Martin, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Martin.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you're great.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you very much for this opportunity. First of all, let me say congratulations to the outgoing cohort. I'm very excited to be here and also to share my story. My name is Martin Francis. I graduated in 2019 in the Global Health Policy and Management program. Right now, I worked as a senior associate with an organization called Avale Health. It's a health consulting firm here in DC. I don't have one challenge, just like Natalia said. I will say I'll just give three. First of all, just like she also mentioned, is the visa issue. So the visa limitation was a big one for me, but I will say, don't worry about the things you can't control, just focus on the things you can control. So another one was time. Time was not on my side, and we have this 3 months time period where you have to get a job, 90 days where you have to get a job. So that time was not on my side. It was a big challenge. It was a big fear. And just like she also mentioned, it was an uncertainty, like you don't know what was going to happen. But I would say you have to be creative. You have to just be creative and think of creative ways, and also think of the worst case scenario and how you can avoid it. And the last one will be, I was transitioning into a new industry that I didn't have enough experience about. So it was a huge challenge, but in all, it was good. It wasn't too much. I learned a lot from Heller, that I was able to communicate with my employer, and they were excited to have me join them. For strategies, during the period of my job search, LinkedIn was my best friend. So every day LinkedIn, every day, night, looking at LinkedIn, connecting with people, not just going to LinkedIn, but connecting with people. I had an aim, or I had a target where I was looking towards top executives in like different organizations. So first of all, I would say have a focus. Now have a focus and narrow your search. Now when you have a focus and you're able to narrow your search, you will be precise about what you're looking for. So after narrowing my search to, because I wanted to be in data analytics, and I narrowed my search towards healthcare organizations that had that focus, and started looking at those organizations and connecting with top executives in those organizations. And some of them responded. We had chats, I had coffees with some people, and a lot of good things came out of it. I was referred, I got interviews, a lot of interviews through that strategy. So at a point for me, it wasn't just about, it wasn't, getting interviews wasn't a problem, it was just getting the job that was the problem. So yeah, that was for strategy. And how I got my present role, I think I saw the job on LinkedIn and then on Indeed, and I applied. And now it doesn't just stop at just applying. Now you have to take an extra step, because a lot of people, everybody's applying. Now what makes you different from every other person that's applying? Now I saw when I applied, I saw the recruiter's email on the website, and I emailed the recruiter. And when I emailed the recruiter, she was on leave at that particular time. So I got an automatic response with another person's email that was like maybe standing in for her. And I emailed that person also. And after a few days or so, the other recruiter that was standing in for the main recruiter emailed me for another job. So, and that's how we went through the process, and I got the present role that I'm in.
So Martins, just to clarify, when you lived on LinkedIn and you were connecting with a number of folks asking for coffees and chats, do you consider those informational interviews? I mean, what was your approach there? Yeah,
I would say it was informational interview, and also to like introduce myself to these people, and yeah, just have a chat, and anything can come up. And then also to learn about their organization. That's another thing important. Even my present role, after emailing the recruiter, and then she sent me interview dates, I went forward also to like connect with other people in the organizations, and had like informational interviews before the main interview. And those informational interviews I had with the people I spoke to before my main interview actually gave me perspective of the organization that I didn't really know from the outside, right? So, and there was one of the people that I spoke to actually told me of a particular question that I should ask the interviewer when you get to the stage where, you know, in an interview at the end of everything, they ask, do you have any question for me? And he gave me like a particular question that I should ask, because he as like an insider information. Like if you're a stock trader, you know what insider information can do for you. So yeah.
Do you mind sharing that super secret question?
So my organization have 100% access to CMS data. Now I don't know that. And since I was going into analytics, he wanted me to ask them to know, because they just had a merger with another organization that gave them this access. So he said, ask them how they leverage this new merger to like use the data that these people have. So now they don't know I don't know they had merged. So it was like an important question. The interviewer felt like I was close to them. Like he felt, oh, this guy knows something about us, or this guy had researched a lot about us. And so, yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Martins. I appreciate your insight there. Yi, do you mind going next?
Okay, just unmuted myself. So I'm Yezhang Pog. I graduated last year, 2019, from Social Policy PhD program. So I originally came from China. First, I got a master's degree in economics in 2012 from Duke. And then I spent 1 year on OPT to prepare to get my PhD. I mean, that time I was applying. And OPT time was, for me, it was challenging, but I guess compared with people in this political environment, and for immigrants and international students, everything got harder. When I got my current job is way easier compared with everybody else because I have a long time. I was started my job as an intern in my third year OPD program and through a Heller alumni. That is the trick. Because I know my job is RTI International, a research consulting firm. I do research for health policy. So we use a lot of CMS data as well. We do program evaluation for multiple federal government, their payment model and quality program to help healthcare institutions to improve their quality and reduce cost. So my work is data analytics as well. So how I got that job, it started as I got the idea RTI is hiring in the summer. And then I know some classmates, seems that they got hired the year before. Then I talked to them. Then I know, okay, they were indeed hiring. And then I asked them, can you help me to talk to your manager to see whether they hire more people? And then at the beginning, there's no opening, but then I just stay persistent. And then even though they just turned me down, said, sorry, we have no opening, but I just stay positive, said, okay, no problem, I'm still here. If you have any opening, let me know. And the miracle happened. 2 weeks later, they said, oh, we really evaluate our workload. I found we do need a person. Then I got there, and then it was 2017, and I transitioned from intern to a full-time researcher last year before I graduate. And I feel the biggest challenging for me doing my search is to feel like overwhelmed. Like sometimes just feel, okay, I'm an international student, probably I deserve no help. I deserve nothing. And it's so easy to see the bad part of life. Say, oh, I don't have enough publication. I don't know enough people. And it's so easy to say, I don't know this and I don't know that. But I feel the way to move forward is every time that don't compare with other people. Don't try to compare with your so-called potential. I'm from a culture that is so good at shaming ourselves, like peer pressure. See, your colleagues and the classmates are doing better in this way or that way. And you should have tried harder. And then, so I feel a lot of talent is not about international student or not. Visa definitely is a challenge. When I get my current job, I have green card already because I'm married an American person. So that is even for the first search I did in 2012, 13. I mean, the problem is not visa, but when you say, okay, let me see there and just feel frustrated, and then that will stop us all. And that, when I just talk about more about that, that OPT in 2012, that is more relatable to folks here. At that time, I guess it's easier. We have 90, you need to get a job in 90 days, but there is a way to get around it. Because if you can get one sponsor who can sign the paper for you, and he is my volunteer, work on a project. If you don't get paid, it's okay. And then you can extend the time to stay, because if you don't get a job within 90 days, your OPT is invalid. But if you can, get someone help you, it's connection, your teacher. I guess it's anybody who has some contract, some data, or want to help you, just help you to sign that signature. Then you can go beyond 90 days. And then I think after you go beyond 90 days, you just need to take your time and need to focus on the people who can help you to get an H-1B visa. I was never on H-1B, but I know this process. I guess for folks who only have 1 year OPT, you better get yourself into a non-for-profit, because there is a lottery for the capped H-1B if you get to a for-profit organization. And then there are way more applicants than the available spot. I know a lot of friends, they twice in a row 3 years, they cannot get a H-1B visa because they are not lucky enough. So for 1 year program, they definitely need to pay attention to first whether they can sponsor your H-1B. are they using capped or uncapped H1B? That is technical, but you have to think about it, because if you get a H1B sponsorship and then end up don't get picked in the lottery, that is like nothing. And many students don't know about that. And you better ask. And because the OPT 1 year is so short, especially in this pandemic, connection is really important. And I know as an international student, people feel, how could I know anybody? But actually, American students will say the same. They will say, I don't know anybody either. So it's not looking for a job, there is competition, right? But I'm not in that terrible disadvantage. Don't worry. And also don't think about yourself as an international student who only can do mathematics, or can only be a labor. And so you just present yourself as an interesting human being. And for me, it's like I do hiring sometimes, because my organization, we are always hiring people. Even I'm not a hiring manager, but if my group is hire someone, if I can refer someone into it, first I will get money. That is no secret. Let me tell you this, not open secret. So now for good organization, there is a lot of cost for us to hire good people. And we don't want to do a random search. Just get all the application and do the background check and an interview. That is tough, and we don't know whether we'll even give offer, but this person will take it or not. So we use our, employee and their connection. And if this person get hired, it's my reference, I will get a bonus. And that's never happened, but now it's a trick. So it makes a lot of people want to help. It's not just their good heart, but there is monetary incentive. For people, for companies who don't have this incentive, we still want to help sometimes, because if your group is hiring, we want to make sure the people who get hired can work with me well. And maybe it's easier for me to mentor in the future. So you can feel rest assured, there's a lot of people who want to give you an informational interview. So don't be shy about that. So a lot of time, international students feel that I'm not a native speaker, I don't know enough, maybe I just make myself a fool. So my point is, our biggest enemy is our self-limitation. Just limit yourself and put multiple ceilings and dig a hole and then just trap yourself here. And I think the biggest way to get around that hurdle is you need to work in a group, especially in the pandemic. Many people feel depressed. You better have a group of 2 or 3 persons, and then pick up your best friend. Pick up person who are positive and stay with them, and then encourage each other. And don't try to compete with the progress. Like, yeah, getting interview, I'm not. But it's important to have peers to support you. Don't do things by yourself. And how did you connect to current role? I already talked about it. It's alumni. Alumni is really super helpful. Our school is we strive on fighting for social justice. That's good, but we can see this in our real life as well. I do found alumni is super active and super helpful.
Great, Yi. Thank you so much for all of your insight. Wise information there. So thank you. Samira, would you like to go now?
Yeah, thank you so much, Bryan and Benny, for giving me the opportunity to speak here. So my name is Samira, and I am in SID class of 2020. Hopefully, will be graduating this May. And I'm currently working as a staff planning and support lead in American Red Cross Medford, specifically concentrating on COVID response. So let's go for the questions. What was the biggest challenge? So for me, one of the biggest challenge was where to search for the jobs, because I was a new international student in the US and I didn't know where to look for the jobs, no idea about websites or anything. So for me, that was the biggest challenge for me, because even if I think about my visa status, even if I think about where I need to get a job, I need to get an internship, I need to know where I need to look for. So for me, the challenge was where to look for, like whether LinkedIn or just Googling like nonprofit jobs in Massachusetts or nonprofit jobs in US. That was one of my biggest challenges because there are lots of websites in internet, but not all the websites are being very updated. So you don't get updated job uh, postings. So that was one of my biggest challenges. And another one was since I had like around 5 years of experience when in my home country, Bangladesh. So I was a bit confused, like what kind of experience level I should apply for. Should I apply for entry level because I was in an associate level back in my country, or should I again apply in associate here in the US? So that was a kind of dilemma for me. So these were the challenges that I faced. And if I talk about strategies and resources to which helped guiding me in my research, first of all, let's talk about the strategies what I followed. uh, I followed the what Martin said, LinkedIn strategy most, looking for the jobs because those are most updated in the LinkedIn. And also I went to career services. Benny, I disturbed you so many times, and I took so many appointments for Benny, and like or every time, every other week, I used to go to Benny. I'm like, hey, Benny, can you please look into my CV? Hey, Benny, can you please look into my cover letter? And I remember I went to Benny with the 3 pages of resume first time. And the last time I came out of the room with 2 pages of resume because Benny was like, no, don't put this. Okay, put this here, put this there. No, put this at the top, put this at the last. So that was very, very helpful. That was one of my strategies. And also for the cover letters, I had around 2 pages of cover letter. And Benny was like, who is going to read this? No, 1 pages of cover letters, Amira. And he literally helped me a lot in cover letters and CVs and resumes. And I got to know about the differences between CV and resume after meeting Benny. I thought both the same. So yeah, like these are the strategies I followed. And also in LinkedIn, I used to send messages to the recruiters and also the executives that Martin said. That is really, really helpful. The resources, I would say, of course, the Career Development Center. That was one of my good resources. Another one was the SID Academic Advisor, Mary Poor. Mary used to send us all the job updates, like where the jobs are opening and with the links and how to apply and everything. And still she is sending us that. So that is one of the biggest resource for me. Also, another resource for me was Handshake, which is like Brandeis Career Development Center's another website that looks like LinkedIn a bit, but I got few like positive offers from there in Handshake. Like I got to know many job openings as well. Going to the last question. How did you connect to your current role? Okay. So in 2019 January, we had a career trek by Career Development Center in Washington DC. So there we visited many organizations, including American Red Cross headquarters. So we went there and we had a good symposium with American Red Cross officials. So after the symposium, when we were going back to our hotel, I remember that I had a very good conversation with one guy in American Red Cross, like regarding the refugee context in my country, where American Red Cross is working really hard and in a very good way. So while having the conversation, I expressed my interest, like I am interested in community development and I'm interested in disaster management and so on. So I exchanged our card, our official card. And while I came back, I sent him an email like, hey, this is a follow-up email. Like I really appreciate your works and I'm really interested working with American Red Cross. So I was looking for a practicum, to be very honest, for an internship. So I just sent him an email like I'm currently in Massachusetts and I would like to go for any kind of internship or volunteering opportunities American Red Cross can offer. So he basically connected me with American Red Cross Massachusetts lead, and he offered me whether he like asked me whether I'm interested in summer internship or summer volunteering opportunities. So I was like, yeah, I'm free in summer. So I started working with American Red Cross in summer 2019 as a volunteer. And when like it was coming to an end, I talked with my supervisor like, hey, I'm actually looking for my practicum and I am looking for an internship. If you think that I can go for it, or you have any internship opportunities here, let me know. And she was like, yeah, why are you going to leave? Just stay here and continue your work with us. So yeah, that's how I continued. And after 1 year, when the COVID response started, they promoted me into staff planning and support lead for the COVID response specifically. Yeah, that's my experience.
That's your story, a success story of perseverance.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are there any concluding thoughts or comments from the panelists on those questions before we move into Q&A?
Can I just say a couple more things?
Natalia, the floor is yours.
Okay. Yep. I think, a couple of things I wanted to say as an international student is that we have seen more and more that, organizations are trying to have more diverse staff. So like Yi was saying that, don't look at, ourselves as like, our weaknesses. Don't focus so much on the disadvantage. Focus on our strengths. There's so much, we are such a great asset as an international student. We have lived experience that a lot of people do not have. And that is one of the most important things when we are doing this work. And also we have a background of a country, a country or countries outside the US. So I think it is really important for us when we are meeting potential employers to emphasize how that will help their organization stronger. And then another thing is, if like Martin was saying that, take every opportunity to be kind of like a practice, right? For me, I mean, I apply this job. I probably applied for like 15 jobs with customized everything and had probably 4 or 5 interviews that broke my heart because I then didn't get the job, But by the time I met this organization, which I didn't have a lot of expectation, because of those practice, it already like made that conversation so natural after, they had very intense like interview process. But I already felt like comfortable. So every opportunity is a practice. Don't walk into that interview thinking like, I'm gonna get this job and be heartbroken. Yes, you want to get that job. You are gonna get that job. But if you don't, you will learn so much from just that interview. Even if the mistakes that you made during that interview, it will help you for the next interview. Just wanted to share with everyone. You will have challenging moments, but we are examples of, what we could have, what we can overcome.
Thank you, Natalia.
Can I say something too?
Yeah, go ahead, Martins.
Yeah, so just to emphasize some of the things that have been spoken, I will say from the jump, you have to be determined because you will be discouraged. You will be discouraged, so you have to be determined that no matter the outcome, I will keep going. Because I got to like several final stages and I didn't get the job at the point I wanted to like, give up. But yeah, you will give up maybe for a day or two, but you have to go back again and continue trying. So, and another thing, one thing that is very, very important, they never underestimate the power of relationships. Like you have to build relationship, you have to keep relationships, and you have to manage relationships. Now, my time was running up, the 3 months time was running up, and then I was thinking, oh, what do I do? But I met a couple of people in Hella. One of them had a fiancé that had a little company that was like an IT company. And like, okay, when my time was running up, I just spoke to him. Hey, can you just help me out? My OPT time is running out, and then let me just partner with you or do some projects with you while I'm looking for a main job. And yeah, that was how I was able to cover up the 90 days, and the 90 days wasn't a problem for me. So never underestimate the power of relationships. Never underestimate anybody that you have right now. They might just be your savior.
So Martins, do you mind if I ask a follow-up question? So in those moments where you're feeling really discouraged, right? You're like, oh, I only have a few last days. Things aren't looking good. You know, what was that like for you? How did it change your approach? I mean, how did you keep going?
Well, it just made me more aggressive. So
Aggressive.
yeah, it made me more aggressive, and then like it made my different senses to like think faster. So for example, I was the one that reached out to this friend of mine to say, okay, can you do this for me? You know, if I didn't bring that up, he wouldn't have known that he could do that. So my senses were like super awoken at that particular time, and I was aggressive and went beyond my way to like get things done. Yeah.
Thank you, Martins.
You're welcome.
I would like to add something.
Yes, Amira?
Okay, so I would like to say, of course, networking is very, very important. Like talking with the recruiters or the alumni or people who are working in the specific organization where you are going to apply. Networking is very important. Send them an email or send them a message or email in LinkedIn and let them know that, hey, I'm interested in this job and these are my expertise and skills. So what do you think? Or can we discuss about these things and stuff? Not necessarily you are going to get replies from everyone, but I can assure like at least one person out of 10 will reply definitely that, okay, hey, let's talk about this. And another thing I would like to say that brush up your CV or resume and cover letter by experts like Bryan or Benny or Erica. Like I didn't know that I need to change my resumes and I need to change my cover letters according to the job I'm going to apply. So before even starting working with AirC, I didn't know that people like the people who works in HR, they will only press Control F and find out the things that they are looking for the specific job. For example, if you are applying for project coordinator role, the HR is not going to look into your whole CV or cover letter. He or she will just put Control and F and find out like coordination, planning, facilitation, evaluation, this kind of keywords that they are going to mention in their job responsibilities. So make sure that whenever you are writing your cover letter or CV or resume, putting those specific words they're asking for. It's a lot of time, I know. I remember like I sent Plan International's cover letter to Save the Children's job application, and I do not regret at all for that. So yeah, it happens. And so make sure that you do that. That's a bit of work maybe, but that literally works. Like you might get like shortlisted for this. Oh, hey, this person said that she has or he has like evaluation experiences, data analysis, and facilitation and event management. These are the things that I'm looking for. So this is like very important, like brushing up your CV and resume. And another thing is open your LinkedIn whenever you have any LinkedIn account. Like make sure you put that option open, like you are open for jobs and which is open to the recruiters. Like once I did that, I saw like my LinkedIn search has been like from this to this. Like the recruiters got to know that I'm available for a job. So make sure of that, and yeah, hope for the best. You'll get that.
Great.
I
Thank
have
you,
one
Samir.
thing to add. So I have one thing about the challenge and how to handle failure. Like when you get a lot of rejection, it's hard to feel not bitter, not resentful toward yourself or the company. But one thing, remember, when someone give you many interviews, I mean the company, and you even go to the last round and you get a rejection letter, it's painful, right? Want to cry? But remember, when you get the rejection letter, still send them. Because a lot of time people, they have to say no. Maybe they really want to. The other person totally want to, but there were 4 persons on the committee. The other 2 persons are more powerful than this person. And no matter how strong the person like you and lobbied for you, it didn't work. There is politics, there is power, and then it's hard for people to say no, and they feel bad. And then if you tell them, I really appreciate all your interviewing, all the time, all the talk you gave to me, that will make that person feel respected. And really, on this earth, relationship is more important than that job. Because you know this field is really small. And also another benefit is maybe the person they hired and I'm not showing up, said, I got something better. They may later contact you, say, oh, are you still interested in this job? If you have a good relationship, you won't feel offended. Say, okay, now you come back to me. I hate you. So don't take things personally and appreciate the good part of the process and build connection, even they say no to you. Because everyone of us want to be a good person. If you are not a good person, you shouldn't care anyway, right? So it's always think about any little good aspect of the process. You need a lot of positive energy. Just push yourself forward. That's it.
Thank you, Yi. So we have about 10 minutes left, and I want to make sure that we have time for student questions. Do we have any student questions? It looks like we have one in the chat I'll start with here. It says, my question is, how do you manage your relationship or contact with your supervisor? So maybe one of our panelists can field that one.
What does supervisor mean in this context? Wait, like supervisor from school or supervisor from intern, supervisor from work?
Yeah, so Ray, are you available?
Yes, I'm available. I'm here.
Do you want to clarify your question?
Oh, sure. So supervisor is meaning in your current job, there is a reporting mechanism in there, and the person right above you is your supervisor or someone assigned to oversee what you do. So how is that relationship like? How do you manage it? Like, how do you relate? Whether there is good things or there is not so good things in that relationship.
Remove the word manage from your mindset. You just treat them as a person. And there's a lot of time we will try to like deal with that relationship. The relationship rarely work. You just say, okay, they are human. They have children. They have a cat. They like coffee. You just feel there is a power structure, right? They manage you, sort of that. But you want to have a good relationship, go beyond just a good employee. You want to be like you two interested in each other as a person. That's attitude always help you to get all the edge smooth.
I can add to that if we have a few minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I think, I think relationship is not just like, getting a job, searching for a job, keeping your job. Relationship, you will experience it in every single aspect. Right now, our organization, we are a funding organization. So relationship is so important because every time I interact with communities, I have to make sure that I'm aware of that kind of power dynamics, of funders and grantees and stuff like that. So, but at the same time, we really have to communicate with people at a personal level. I think having that, I think part of it is my nature, but part of it, I think I work really, really hard to have that personal and make sure that I take the time to really get to know people, to be responsive. And, I'm not thinking about, oh, maybe this person will help me in the future. I don't think about stuff like that. It's just like my own standards. But it does apply and it makes your work so much better and so much more meaningful. And in terms of like supervisor, for me, I agree, think about someone as a person, right? Right now, my boss has 2 children at home. So it's a team of 2. I felt like I had so much work to do all the time, but now I'm like, I have to step up because my boss has 2 children at home trying to work from home. So I think it's, it's not so much about, okay, and then what will I get in return? I think about it. I have my own standards. And even when I talk to my director, sometimes she's like, Nitaya, you have to pace yourself. And I will remind her sometimes it is my own ethics. I do something that I feel good about myself. And if it doesn't work for you, you have to let me know. But most of the time, if you are really responsible, you have that integrity, just take the time to learn about someone, and yeah, you will figure out.
Great.
I would like to
What
add
if
one
you-
thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Media.
So one sentence to add. Your manager is a person with vulnerability. Remember this, when you see that sat there down, talk to them. Don't say, okay, run away. It's best time to build a relationship when you can help them.
Samira?
Can I?
Oh.
Yeah, Media, please go for it. Yeah.
I just wanted to add one thing. Sometimes not everyone is on the same page. You might end up working with someone who just like so self-centered and so micromanaging. And as an employee, you want to be accommodating, right? And sometimes you do that, and it could take so much from you. You do have to define that relationship, have the boundary. There would be time you have to tell yourself, look, I'm not here to fix someone's life. So if you have a really, really shitty supervisor, there are certain things you want to accommodate to make sure that relationship, continue as positive as possible. But there are also at certain time you have to tell yourself, I'm not responsible for someone's behavior, and you have to be strong to take that stance. So just wanted to add.
And did you have something, Samira?
Yeah, I would like to say that I have always been a believer of having professional relationship with supervisors always, but thinking about your manager as your team member, not as your manager all the time, because there are lots of things you have to offer in any job that you never explain or never mention in CV or something like that. So always, like in my experience, always considering my supervisor as my team member, and sometimes coming up with ideas, and also like, hey, for example, like I remember there was one time like how I came to this staffing lead position. Like I used to work as an intern, and my supervisor didn't want me to give like to take responsibilities like high data management thing, and like high staff managing and this resource management stuff and logistical things. So when one day I remember that before this COVID, like it was not for COVID, it was for another project. And I came up and I saw that she was like she was overwhelmed with so many projects, with so many works. And I offered like, hey, this is the work that I have done in my life, like for 4 years. I know these things and I can help you out with this. So she remembered and she kept it in mind, like, okay, Samira can do this, and Samira knows this stuff, though these are not in her current role, but she knows this stuff. So this is how I got this, like the next position here. So like having a professional relationship, and also letting your manager know and letting your supervisor know that you are available for his or her help. And also you can do stuff whenever you do not have so many things on your plate. So letting them know that I am here, I am available here to help you, but also let them know that don't give so many things on my plate so that I cannot give 100%. So always having the balance and having that professional relationship always works with the supervisors.
Great, thank you. So we're going to end with this one last question. There are several coming in, and I'm sorry we don't have enough time to address all of them. But this next question is really, it's no surprise we're in the middle of an economic recession. So what does an international student need to do to really stand out in this market? It was much more complex than that, but I narrowed it down. So any insight on, what does an international student need to do to stick out right now?
So I can just go forward and say, you shouldn't treat it as any different from you doing what you're doing right now. If you're doing the right things, like it will only take time, it will always produce results. So I know people, even in this COVID-19, in these times where everybody's locked down, that have gotten jobs and they are international students. So it's just have a strategy and keep to that strategy, or that method. And just, if you're doing the right thing, it's just time, it's just a matter of time. It will definitely, you will definitely get something.
Thank you, Martins.
Can I go for it? Something?
Yeah, go first, Samira.
I would say a few things. First of all, during this pandemic, scaling up your skills and expertise where you do not have any hands-on. For example, I had very few ideas about data and data analysis stuff. So during this pandemic, I have enriched my skills in data analysis so that I can apply more jobs, which I had to cut down when I used to apply maybe 3 or 4 months back because I didn't have that much expertise and skills. Also, not to limiting, since this is a pandemic situation and job opportunities are very less than usual time. No, I would like to suggest not to not to putting yourself into any specific area wise job applicant. Like I'm going to apply only for the US. I'm going to apply only for India. I'm going to apply only for Bangladesh. No, you are a global student right now. I'm not talking about an international student. You are a global student. You are a global scholar right now. You're coming from Heller. So widening up your exposure to other countries as well, where all the development related works are going on. Be open, apply everywhere. I am pretty sure with the experiences we are going to have, or we already have at Heller, and the education we got, and also the skills and expertise we have enriched, we are going to get something very good. Of course, I really have that belief for the Heller students. So not to captivating yourself only for specific area, but widening up for all the places all over the world will be really helpful, I guess.
Great, thank you, Samira.
Right. I need to leave, but I have one thing to add.
Yeah.
When in any interview, don't pretend to be someone you're not. That will just make you very nervous and perform badly in interview. And from my experience of selecting candidate, I found people, when you look on paper, people are super similar. And so if you want to stand out, just make yourself personal and interesting, because after interview, usually we are not talking about how great this person good at dealing with data, or what great experience this person had from previous job. We'll say, that guy is funny. That make you kind of memorable. And don't forget that, especially now it's depressing, people are sad. If you can even make a good joke, people remember you a little bit longer.
Thank you, Yi. Anything else for the good of the cause? We are at time. I do want to thank all of our panelists. Your insight is invaluable. You know, we very much value everything that you've contributed to this conversation. I look forward to using your exact words in my advising appointments. So just really a huge thank you to all of you and to our students. So with that, we do look forward to keeping in touch. Please be in touch.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Great to
Thank
see
you.
you.
Have a good day ahead.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet everyone too.
Yeah.
Always good to see you, Nitalia.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Same
Mark.
here.
See you, Mark.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you.